Junji Ito is one of Japan's most well-respected horror authors. Since 1987, he's written dozens of horror classics. Out of all the horror media he's ever written, Uzumaki is one of his most well-known. Since its release over half a century ago, it's gotten a handful of its own adaptations. A lot of these shits is not good, or at least for most of these, you're way better off just reading the original source material. My first ever experience with Uzumaki was with the animation that Adult Swim had released last year. And when I say the amount of disappointment I had was up here, past the roof, my nigga. This shit was not good at all. Like, I've never seen an anime tank so badly in one episode. They spent years advertising this show and teasing it as the best way to experience Uzumaki. I thought when I was going into this, I would at least get a halfway decent way to watch Uzumaki. But honestly, past like the first episode, I want to say this isn't really worth your time at all. It really sucks to see a show with so much potential get absolutely shitted on by network executives and people who don't know what they're doing at all, having full creative control for some reason. And it's a shame that for the foreseeable future, these are the type of people who are going to be making a lot of the decisions for the media that we love. This wasn't the first adaptation of Uzumaki though. On February 11th, 2000, Uzumaki's live action adaptation was released. It was the feature debut of director Higuchinsky and received very mixed reviews. Not very much is known about Higuchinsky. As a director, he's very much known for being a very private person. He was given the opportunity to make Uzumaki after his time directing an episode of Iko Iko Azarak. This episode landed him a meeting with Kengo Kaji. Kaji was the lead writer on Tokyo Gore Police and was so impressed by his direction that he suggested he make a film. Around this time, Toei was also looking for a director for the Uzumaki adaptation. Yes, the Dragon Ball and the One Piece niggas. The stars ended up aligning perfectly, and from it we were able to get the live action Uzumaki adaptation. There's two main things that I feel like make this movie kind of interesting to watch as an adaptation. One, the manga wasn't finished yet, and two, the director wanted to be unique with how he adapted it. Since the manga wasn't finished, he had to work around the plot being very obviously unfinished. Instead of focusing on, the story, he ended up focusing more on the atmosphere and how bizarre the actual story was. Don't get me wrong, I really like this movie, but I feel like for some of the more actual important parts of the story, he kind of just didn't really give a fuck to adapt it since he was like, oh, the manga's not finished. It's really a shame how anything in this movie that tries to be more meaningful than the jump scare kind of just falls flat on its face. This movie isn't bad at all though. I think for all of its flaws, it's still a really unique way to experience Uzumaki. I definitely don't think it should be the only and main way you experience it, but if you like the manga, you should definitely check it out. I've been a Junji Ito fan for a while now, and I've somehow never heard of this adaptation. So for the next however long, we're going to be going over the live action Uzumaki adaptation. The movie starts with one of our main characters, Kyrie, overlooking the town before school. She lives in a village called Kurozucho, and the movie was filmed in the Nagano prefecture. Other than the monkeys who bathe in the hot spring in the winter, Nagano is also known for how mountainous it is. A lot of the towns in the prefecture are almost fully surrounded by mountains that can get up to 3,000 meters tall. And I'm pretty sure with this information, you can see why they chose this as the setting for the horror movie. She's late for class, and after getting some establishing shots for the village, we get our first of sadly many jump scares.
山口くん
びっくりした？
え？
びっくりしたみたいだね。
当たり前でしょ。
怒ったのかい？びっくりさせるのは僕の趣味なんだ。
ああ、そうですか。いいご趣味だこと。何よ。
小島くん、僕と付き合ってくれないか？
え？
I really need to know what type of father figure this man has in his life for him to feel like this is adequate sauce. She swiftly rejects this nigga and runs off as she should. There is no reason why you should be having the hose running down the street out of breath, bruh. She runs into her childhood best friend's dad, recording a snail, unresponsive, not saying anything. She leaves the weird guy alone and then goes to meet up with her boyfriend. Not that guy from earlier. So does this town just not have the infrastructure for fucking tunnel lights? Like, this seems weirdly dangerous. This is our other main character, Shuichi, and his father was the guy we saw earlier.
二人乗りは禁止だっつうの、まったく。
How do I know this man's divorced? Because what other reason do you have to be this mad in such a small town? It's here we also get a very unsubtle Junji Ito cameo. You know, it's not as cool as the way Marvel does the cameos for like Stan Lee, but I'll take it from a movie like this. Shuichi's dad has been acting really odd recently. He's become hyper obsessed with spirals and even steals from other people in town to feed his collection. It's getting to a point for Shuichi where he's seriously considering leaving town. After school, Kyrie gets home from grocery shopping. Shuichi's dad's there and he's commissioning work from her dad. Listen, I know this man's a paying customer, but he would have had to get booted. The next day at school, when Kyrie is walking up the stairs, she witnesses a student fall to their death. I thought the gore for this scene was really cool, but I thought it was so crazy how the scene was set up. I'm surprised the school didn't have like more safety precautions or whatever, considering the fact that he was able to bust his shit open that much. The girls talk about the very traumatic thing they just witnessed in the bathroom, and they low-key talking shit about the nigga. Like, the nigga ain't even been dead an hour. Calling him a dumbass is insane. The anime bully friend group pops out the stalls in unison. And I really want to know how the fuck you get this shit coordinated. This is Sakino, and she has this whole speech about like death and shit. The only thing I could notice though was them damn Vivienne Westwood earrings. Some shit is swag. She also has the power to make cigarettes explode, I guess. After school, Shuichi gives this whole like exposition dump on like the Uzumaki curse and how he thinks it's affecting the town. The tweaker from earlier is watching these niggas from the woods. Do you know how much grip strength you have to do that to a tree? This nigga might be a bigger threat than the curse. When Shuichi gets home, he sees his dad beating his mom. This is when we really get to see how deep his obsession with spirals goes and how he'll literally choose spirals over his actual family. I feel so bad for his wife because at this point, he's completely gone. The next day at school, Kyrie is very visually shocked by what she saw yesterday. Her classmate Katayama walks in late and this dickhead starts fucking roasting him.
朝ちゃんと家出たんですけど
先生そいつめっちゃくちゃ足のろいんすよカタツムリの方が早いらしいっすよなあ
Like, this nigga trash, bro. Look at the way this nigga looked around for approval after that lame ass joke. They tripped this nigga and then they start kicking his ass, bro. Why are people in this town so angry? Like, what could you be having going on in your life to where you're so mad you gotta do this to some random nigga in your class? When Kyrie is walking home, that grimy ass nigga jump scares her again. I really need to know what events went on in this man's life for him to feel like jumping out and scaring a girl is the best way to win her over.
中身も見ないで返すのかい？いいから開けてみてよ。喜んでくれた？
もうやめて。
どうして僕じゃダメなんだ？
私あなたの趣味に付き合う気はないの。これ以上私に構わないで。
小島君、僕は諦めないよ。
I won't give up is insane. Where's that police nigga from earlier? Is stalking not a crime? When she gets home, her dad tells her to deliver Shuichi's dad's commission to his house. When she gets to Shuichi's house, she finds his dad dead in the washing machine. I have a lot I want to say about this scene later, but for now, I just think it's really, really shitty how they just don't show you until like 10 minutes later what everybody's screaming at. Like, it just cuts to the aftermath at the point where you would usually see a body. I don't know, I just thought it was stupid. At the funeral, the sky turns into a literal spiral, and other than the way Shuichi's dad died, It's very obvious that the town's cursed now. The mom is also cursed at this point and develops a fear of spirals. She passes out and they take her to the hospital. At the hospital, Shuichi suggests that they leave, but they can't just leave his mom behind and she's gonna need a few days to recover, so they have to wait. A reporter comes in claiming to know Shuichi's dad, and he comes in and gives us a little exposition dump. He basically just wants to figure out what's the mystery going on with the cursed town. He drives Kyrie home, and on the way there, he almost hits her dad. Honestly, I feel like at this point, I really started to enjoy the director's take on Uzumaki. Like, the people infected by the curse in this movie remind me of like Resident Evil characters when they start to change when they get infected. Like the village people in Resident Evil 4. I don't know, it's just really cool to me. Back at Kyrie's house, she wakes up from a nightmare and she sees her dad downstairs smelting shit at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And then this nigga starts tweaking on her.
待って。
いいから早く寝なさい。
Shuichi gets a call from the reporter and he says he found something. They run into the stalker on the way there to meet him and he starts crashing out.
小島君、永遠に僕を忘れられないようにしてあげるよ。
山口くん。
キリエ
Is there something in the water supply in this town or something? Like, this guy wasn't even affected by the curse, I don't think. Back at the hospital, a bug somehow crawled all the way from the entrance into Shuichi's mom's bed. She kills the fuck out of that shit. But then the curse gives her like hallucinations, and even though nobody's told her that like spirals are in the ear except for like the husband, kinda technically, I guess. She's like, oh, I have spirals inside of me, and she kills herself. The situation with the town is starting to get so weird now to the point where news stations are starting to report on it. Even though they said this multiple times and they should have been did it, they finally decide that they need to leave the town. They go back to get her father, but no one's there. Suddenly, Shuichi starts twisting and turning. The curse has him and he starts to stretch out. And then he hits us with a FNAF jump scare. Uzumaki is already an incredibly strong story on its own, and it sucks that the adaptation was already going to be limited by the fact that the manga wasn't finished. I feel like it could have been way worse though. Like, I could easily see this movie being a lot worse if it was made by a different director. I feel like Higuchinsky really did his best with what he had. I love how so many interactions in this movie just feel overly long and uncomfortable. It really helps achieve that uncanny vibe that Higuchinsky was going for. The movie in general has this really cool aura, and I feel like its atmosphere is what saved it from being a stinker. I do feel like the directing could be kind of inconsistent sometimes. Like, for some scenes, I felt like they did an adequate job of showing what the horror was supposed to be. But for other scenes, I feel like they kind of just half-assed it and they didn't really do the best job they could have. The best example I have of this is Shuichi's dad's death. They damn near skip over this entirely. Like, other than seeing the reaction they have in the moment, we don't get to see the actual body until like 10 to 15 minutes later. I also really didn't like the ending for this movie. I felt like it kind of just ended out of nowhere. And I feel like ending on the jump scare is lame as fuck. And I get that this movie was just supposed to be like free promotion for the manga or whatever, but I feel like they definitely could have did a better job of wrapping up the story or giving it some type of better alternative ending. And I think that's the problem with this adaptation and a lot of other anime adaptations. They're glorified advertisements for the manga, and they often aren't given the proper attention that they need to. I don't know, I feel like this movie has so much potential, and imagine how good it would have been if they gave the director more time, money, and actually waited for the manga to be done. But you know, I feel like all in all, after everything I've said, this movie is definitely still worth your time. I really do feel like the director did the best he could, and honestly, it's a really unique way to experience Uzumaki, and honestly, a way better way than the anime. That shit is garbage. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to say, if you're still watching, thank you for watching. I've been working really hard on trying to revive my channel, Cause I don't know, I spent a lot of time feeling like kind of bad, cause like I have a whole video with like 1 million views on it, and I just never used this channel for anything. So if you enjoyed this, I'm gonna do the generic YouTuber shit. Please subscribe, please like, I'm begging you. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to watching more movies for this channel and just doing more horror related shit and other movies, I guess. Peace.